Hi everybody, it's Meg from Books Off the Beaten Path, and today we are not going to be off the beaten path. We're going to be on the long trod path of cozy mysteries. And I have been avoiding this subject for a while because there's whole channels just devoted to cozy mysteries, and cozy mystery readers, you know who you are. And so my opinions on cozy mysteries may be a little bit salty at times. I used to read them all the time, but I don't read them that much anymore. And I'll tell you why later on in the video if you hang out that long with me. But what I did was I conducted a little experiment. I went to the library just this morning, and I went to the mystery section and I pulled out all of these books from authors that I have read over the years in cozy mysteries. And then I've got some personal favorites out that I will never stop reading. But I just kind of wanted to talk about, and we all know what a cozy mystery is, right? A cozy mystery is you've got an amateur sleuth. It's usually a woman. I think there's one series that is a man. I think that's Katniss Sachs, but I'm not exactly sure. You've got the violence happens off screen, and it's usually not that violent. Like, I've never read a cozy where somebody took an axe to the head or anything. It's usually something a little bit less violent. Sometimes they don't even know that it's murder. They have to figure that out. It looks like natural causes until they figure it out. But anyway, one of the reasons that I think you should read cozy mysteries if you are not reading them already is because you can find a range of subjects to learn stuff about. Because all of these cozy mysteries, I've got a few here that I just want to show you the range that you can get into when you start looking at cozy mysteries. And people will find their favorites, just like I found my favorites. So let's just jump right in. Okay, so this one, sorry about the glare there. Susan Witten Albert. This is an ex-lawyer turned herbalist. Love it. She's got dozens of books out. She's prolific. They're all prolific. You all follow the character through all the ups and downs of the character's life, and that's one of the reasons that I stopped reading a lot of cozy mysteries, because they're all ups. I want a few downs, a few hard times, even if they get out of the few hard times. And that's what I'll show you in my favorites. But anyway, I'm keeping going here. This one is Sheila Connolly. And this one is about a woman who is she wants to restore Victorian mansions in this little town. And come on, how cozy is that? Look at that cover of the Victorian mansion that she's going to restore. So if you're into restoration, Victorian architecture, there's one for you. MC Beaton, she's got two series. She's got the Hamish McBee series, and then she's got Agatha Raisin. And Agatha Raisin is really our amateur sleuth. And I love Agatha Raisin. She's probably one of my favorites because she does have her own ups and downs, and she doesn't always come out on top. Sometimes she's made quite a fool of, but she is a private detective. But I am including her in, that wouldn't technically be an amateur sleuth, but I am including her in the cozy mysteries because it all takes place in a little village. She never really goes very far upstream, and even though she calls herself a private detective, she's not really like official. You know, she doesn't have a license that I know of. I don't think she does. She may have one in the series. Put a comment down below if she does. It's been a while since I've read her. Look at this one that I just found. Antique Swap. Can you see that? There's a glare on it. Okay, so we've got a dog. So we know the dog is going to play heavily into this is probably the amateur sleuth's dog. And it's about antiques. And listen to this list of other titles she has. Antiques Con, Antiques Chop, Antiques Disposal, Antiques Knockoff, Antiques Bazaar, Antiques Flea Market. Are you into antiques? Well, then here's a series for you, right here. A Case of Syrah Syrah. Oh, the Wine Country series. I have read these, and they really do take place in beautiful places, and I love wine. But again, you've got a cat there. So the cat is probably the amateur sleuth's cat. And that's, you know, look at that cool wine bottle opener there. That's showing us that there's going to be some trouble in the vineyard. There's going to be a little murder going on there. So what do we have so far? We've got antiques, we've got wine, we've got restoring houses, we've got herbalists. Leslie Meyer, I've read a ton of her stuff. I don't even know what this one is about. This is Lucy Stone. Lucy Stone has been around forever. Oh, so she's going to a manor in England. Now, normally she goes to, she's in a little small town in Maine, but now she's going to an English manor house, and she's going to solve a mystery there, and there'll be a murder there, don't worry. It won't be the dogs. It's not going to be the dogs. It'll be someone that we don't really care about. That's something that cozy mysteries are very good about. It'll either be the worst person in town or someone we don't really care about is going to get axed. Donna Andrews. This is the Meg Laszlo series, and I should love it because it has my first name in it as the character. But she's all about birds. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. I mean, I'm a Twitcher myself. I watch birds and everything like that. And she's just prolific. She has so many books. And they always have a bird pun on it. Puns are big in cozy mysteries. If you love a pun, and who doesn't love a good pun? Me. Sometimes I don't love a good pun. But Donna Andrews with the Meg Laszlo mystery series about birds, or there's birds in it. It's not really about birds. But so bird watchers, you got a series. Coffee. Do you like to drink coffee? Here's just one of the probably half a dozen series that takes place in and around coffee shops. Okay, and this is Cleo Coyle, and it's a coffee house mystery. It's telling us that, even though I think we can get that from the vibe from the front and everything. And I'm not trying to make fun of cozy mysteries. I do love cozy mysteries, but some of them are just a little bit too much for me. And let me tell you why. So we got coffee, we've got birds, we've got wine, we've got antiques, we've got restoring houses, we've got all kinds of stuff. Wait till you see my favorites. My favorites, we haven't even touched on those yet. But I wanted to pick this one up because I thought, well, this is unusual. I haven't seen this, but this is a series. Actually, this is a medieval cozy mystery series. Can you believe that? Of course you can, because they just write about everything. And this is about Whitby Abbey and Hildegard. Hildegard is Whitby's house guest. I don't know if Hildegard's a nun or just like a medieval traveler. I don't know. I haven't read this series, but it was in with all the cozy mysteries. So I'm assuming it's going to be a cozy mystery too. Okay. So cozy mysteries. Again, and I don't have too much to say about this, but people have been wanting me to do a cozy mystery video. My friends have wanted me to do this, I think just to mock me. I think my friends are just like, oh yeah, do a cozy mystery one, because I'm one of my only friends that reads them. But I do read them, and but I've stopped really reading them, really honed down on why I read them. And the reason that I've done that is because in a cozy mystery, everything always works out for the amateur sleuth's favor. And I have gotten to the point in my life where I don't like that so much anymore. I mean, I don't need to, you're very immersed in the town life. And sometimes that's refreshing, and sometimes that's fun, because who doesn't want to escape to another place and learn all about it and everything like that. But other times it can just get downright boring, and you just want to go on and say, okay, let's have some action here whatsoever. I know you're going to the bake shop. I know that you're going to the coffee shop, but let's have something happen. And cozy mysteries for me, that's why I've stopped reading so many of them, because they just have gotten so slow. They spend so much time world building, and then oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes the murder is secondary to the world building. And a lot of people like that, and that's why they read cozy mysteries, but I've gotten to the point where I don't read a lot of them anymore. However, even as I say that, I have a list of my favorite authors here that I'm going to show you. And I'm going to show you my favorite cozy mystery authors. And I'm going to tell you why they're my favorites and why I collect them and why I continue to read them. Okay, first I'll leave that one for the last. That's my all-time favorite. Okay, so the first one that I've got is Fudging the Books by Daryl Wood Garber. Now, I love to cook. This is a cookbook nook mystery. And I think that there would be nothing more fun in life than a whole entire bookstore devoted to cookbooks. I would love that. And that's what's in this book. I've never seen a whole entire bookstore devoted to cookbooks. Maybe there is one. Somebody please let me know where it is so that I can check it out, at least online. But this one had that element of kind of a fantasy world for me that I would definitely spend a lot of time in. Her retail store is all cookbooks, and it's wonderful. So I love that one. A Dark and Stormy Murder is a writer's apprentice series, and I love the concept of this. So you have the older writer, and then she has brought on an apprentice. Now, why she would need that, I don't know. You think she'd need something more like a secretary or just a personal assistant, which our amateur sleuth acts in those ways. But she's not really a writer's apprentice. Even though she wants to write on her own, she is getting some tips from the older writer. But I really liked this one because of not only where this takes place, but I love the title, Dark and Stormy Murder, and I love the idea of the older woman kind of mentoring the younger woman. I really enjoyed that. So I have read a couple of these by Julia Buckley. Okay, one of the most popular series of all times is the Ellie Alexander Bake Shop series. And I got to tell you, I resisted this for a long time because it was so hyped up. And everybody reading cozy mysteries loved Ellie Alexander. And I was like, oh, whatever. I'm not into the Bake Shop mystery. These are so great. These are fantastic. I had to get this one from the library because I wanted the specific first one. And I went to the bookstore and they're all sold out. And this has been out for some years. So Meet Your Baker is the first one. She has this little bake shop. It's called Tort. And it's where is it? Oh, it's in Ashland, Oregon, which is a real place. Obviously, we know it's a real place, but some of them aren't. But this is too much fun. If you love to cook, if you love food, if you don't even love to cook, you just want good descriptions of food and everything like that. And her murders are twisty and turny, and I think that she does a great job. It's not an afterthought. It's really the main plot of the book, and then the afterthought is her working at Tort. So Ellie Alexander, I know she's popular with everyone, but you're popular with me too, sweetie. So I just wanted to let you know that. Okay, Carolyn Hart. I've been reading Carolyn Hart since, was a teenager? Could it be that long that she's been? I don't know. Carolyn Hart is from Oklahoma, and she currently is living in Oklahoma, and I had the opportunity to meet her a couple of times, just, through a church thing and everything. And she's very, very sweet, and she's very, very nice. But she has a couple of different series. Like one, she has this ghost series, which I really don't like because you guys have known me that I like my ghosts to be scary. I don't like my ghosts to be helpers. They're not meant to be helpers, in my opinion. And then, but she also has this bookstore, this all mystery bookstore, which goes back to Fudging the Books, the all cookbook mystery bookstore, or the all cookbook bookstore. Would be a fantasy place for me. I would love it. And then the all mystery bookstore, oh my gosh. That would just be, we used to have one here in T-Town, and then Barnes & Noble got so big that they couldn't exist any longer, and they had to close down. But the All Mystery Bookstore, wouldn't that be wonderful to have? So that one, and both of those are settings. They're all the ones that, other than the Dark and Stormy Murder, all the ones that are my favorites are based on the settings. The settings are my favorites. Okay, so here it is, number one, my all-time favorite love, Monica Ferris. Now, I collect Monica Ferris, and the reason I do is because she owns a needlework store. And we all know how much I love my needlework, my cross stitch and my knitting and my needlepoint. And we all know how much I love that. And she owns a needlework store. And she's also got very good mysteries too. They're twisty and turny and they're smart. Not all the mysteries that you'll find in here will be smart. Some of them, they happen upon the final clue, or even the murderer confesses, or, oh my God, don't get me started on talking animals. I can't do the talking animals thing. I just cannot do it. And by talking animals, let me just reiterate that. If the animal talks to a human being, can't do it. If the animals, I read one recently where the animals were able to talk to each other, and because they were cats, they were able to move all around and overhear all of these conversations, you know, even conversations from the murderer, and then they somehow were able to, by knocking things off chairs and, you know, by pulling things out of books with their teeth, they were able to give our amateur sleuth all the clues. Lazy. That's some lazy writing right there. So that's why I've stopped reading a lot of cozy mysteries, because I feel like many of them have gone into that lazy writing mode, whether it's like, let's just talk about the town and have a little murder, and then we'll have Barney the dog actually discover who the murderer is because he runs up with the bloody knife between his teeth. No, we're not going to do that. That's not a mystery. Also, just to be clear, Agatha Christie's Miss Marple, I wouldn't consider her a cozy mystery. And, you know, you may fight me on that one, but she is an amateur sleuth, and it does all take place in St. Mary's Mead. But I wouldn't consider her, I would consider that a country house mystery, which is different. I can do a video on a country house mystery in a minute like that if you want me to. But anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest about cozy mysteries. I'm not reading that much of them anymore because I think they've dropped off in quality. I think that if you got a few authors out there that are still way up there with quality, but I think you've got such a flood in the market of the cozy mysteries that you've got a lot of really poor ones out there. So if you're a cozy mystery fan and you're mad at me now, go ahead and leave a remark, or, you know, let me know in the video, and I will read whatever it is you want me to read to put me in my place and to give me another perspective, because that's the perspective that I have now. All right, well, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I'm going to have a sip of my water, and I will check you later. Bye.